right. No idea what the hell that was about. But the internet is back up and we should be working. All right. So, I guess we'll wait about 2 or 3 minutes to get everyone to come in here. Just a little bit of a hiccup on the internet side. I don't know what happened there, but if everyone can hear me, if you guys are here and audio is good and video is good, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in chat. Then we'll get started right away. I know we lost a few minutes in the morning here, so we'll get started right away here. All right. Oh, there we go. I'm getting your messages now. Good morning. Good morning. Evans, good morning. Everybody, good morning. All is good. Perfect. Thumbs up. Good morning, Ali. Peter, good morning. Dali, good morning. Everybody, good morning. All right. Perfect. So we got that. And all right. So we'll get started here. Only because obviously I'm running a little bit behind because of my internet issue. But nonetheless, let's get right to it. Okay. So obviously we are in a situation in the markets, guys, where even though we're moving higher, it seems like some stocks are just struggling to move higher, with the exception of Apple, Microsoft, Visa, these powerhouses that continue to kind of truck higher and higher. Other names are kind of, stagnant, going sideways, or, simply just going further down. With that said, we really got to focus on our levels, understand, what we're trading. Are we in it for the long term? Are we looking for quick trades? Are we even looking to swing trade, right? Then we can assess what our outlook is. If we're doing short-term trades, we have stops. If we get stopped out, we knew the risk. And if we're doing long-term trades, what we simply look at our, overall image of where the stock is, what our averages are, and what prices we're looking to add. So these pullbacks on some of these names are actually pretty decent buying opportunities and adding opportunities in your long term, so long as you understand the companies that you own. All right. The more of an understanding you have for a stock that you own long term, the easier it is for you to kind of add to it and kind of leave it there, right? When you have a TFSA or when you have an IRA account, that money is just sitting there and, essentially losing value over the years, and you can't pull it out because it'll be added to your income. You can essentially just, use a little bit more of that money and average it into your long-term positions and kind of get a better average in the long term. All right. So that assesses what's really going on overall and some of the names that are pulling. However, where we are as a whole in the market, let's kind of take a look. Today, I want to kind of zoom out and go back to really where we are as an entirely, okay, dating back all the way from 2016, right? Constant steady move up. Yes, we've had pullbacks, all right. Obviously, the 2018 pullback here, and then the most recent 2020, the COVID pullbacks, and here we are again. Are we super extended? We are, but not to say that there's going to be a catastrophic pull down and we're going to hit 320. We trade what it is, and we kind of really have to gauge it that way. All right, now zooming in closer, we do see that, again, I've always said every time we pull away from these moving averages, we should and most likely do expect a pullback back at least into the moving averages So things can kind of breathe a little bit here. All right. Currently sitting at the 435 level on the SPY. Now, if I zoom in to give you guys the better levels and pull up my levels here, right, 433.90 is exactly where we bounced, right? And it's like clockwork. These lines have been here previously, not something I've drawn in just now. They respected it here before, and prior to that, they were respected as resistance before, right? So lines that are respected continue to get respected, and today it was respected again. So that's the level that we're going to be keeping our eye on today on the SPY, the market as a whole today. And obviously, if we can hold that level, then we're looking at a move back to this 435.70. 435.70 and then 436. If we break above that, we could try to see these all-time high levels here. All right. So, for example, here, guys, we can see every time we come up to this 437.80, 437.90 level, we're getting rejection. So what does that tell us? There's obviously some sort of selling pressure right here, right? So that's going to be our next level. All right, very easy. 2 days in a row, selling pressure at the 437.90 level. All right, so first level to hold will be this, and then we have this level of 435.70, and then our level of 436.75, and ultimately this right here. Right now on the downside, obviously we have 433. Lose that, we have a pretty big hollow spot right here. We can fill to the 430.95 area, and ultimately we kind of need to hold that, or we'll be in trouble coming down to the 428 right now. With that said, take note and realize, where the SPY is in regards to the QQs. All right, so slightly same look to the point where we have that pullback and now just kind of consolidating and moving a little bit higher. However, the Qs are actually staying at a higher level than the SPY is, right? The SPY seems like it never got that big pop like the Q did, and the sell-off was a little bit heavier. Whereas the Q, you got that initial pop that was a little bit bigger, same sort of sell-off, but because of this initial pop, we're still sitting higher than we are with the SPY, right? Why is that? Again, names like Apple doing very well, names like Microsoft, names like Visa, these names are sitting at all-time highs. So these are big cap, big float stocks, big market cap stocks that are essentially moving these names with it. All right. Going back to the Qs again. So obviously that level that we're looking to hold today is going to be that 362 level, right? Resistance here, resistance here. We kind of chopped around on this one. I guess this was Wednesday. Respected a little bit here, and 362 trying to hold that level again. If we roll over, obviously 361, 360 is definitely in the works. Hold that level, 365, and then same idea here on the Qs, guys. What do we have here? We have this 365.50 area acting as resistance. Something is selling up here, and if we get back up here, this will be the level of resistance to watch. This 365 50 level. All right, so keep an eye on those levels. Just a few levels to kind of monitor today. If you're going to be scalping these levels, make sure that you're waiting for confirmation and not just jumping in blindly on a big green aggressive candle that might just plow through this support and resistance line. All right, so those are the levels to watch again in regards to the Qs. If you guys do have questions, go ahead and shoot it out in the chat here. I'll get a look at every single one of them, and in the meantime, I'll go over a few of the names that are pretty popular. So one of them being Tesla. So I think someone's actually asking about Tesla as well. So Tesla, overall, we knew we reward 900, pulled back with that big tech pull down, respected that 200 moving average, had this, this wedge, this pennant happening here with a flat top. We broke to the upside. We had volume on that. We hit our first target of 690 here, and clearly there's resistance right here, right? Clearly there's resistance here. 690 once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, failed to break above that, and then just sold back off right to where the prior support that broke out with volume. Right here we held above that line, 635. Where did we move to? 690. Where are we falling down to? right? Currently sitting at 656, so it's a little bit higher today, but we could very easily come back to the 635 again. It's very it's all it is levels, guys. It's levels. Once you find a pattern, you look for next areas of selling pressure, which in that case was this area right here, this topping wick, this area that failed to go back higher, right? This area is an area of resistance. Again, I've said it 100 times. You guys have to start thinking about it as areas and not so much a strict number, right? So maybe that means that this 690 to the 720 area is an area of selling pressure. Maybe that means from this 635 to the 600 area is an area of buying pressure, right? And you can literally trade these channels. If you identify these channels on these stocks, then you're going to be able to assess a situation where you say, okay, this is an area where I want to start selling in, and this range is an area that I want to start buying in. Don't be so focused on the exact figure as a support and resistance line. All right, so let's take a look at SBCE. Obviously, the only pattern we really found on SBCE, guys, was this pennant right here, right? Was this pennant. We got the breakout, nice aggressive candle here. Following that, some news came out, pushed this thing, or I guess maybe this was Reddit. I'm not sure. But anyways, we pushed up and we had this kind of double top happen right here at 57.50. And then it just really just sold off, right? And it just failed to get back up. It tried to get back up. It had a huge gap up on news on this day right here, which was July 2nd. And look at that. From it closed at 42.97, right? It opened at 53, pushed up to 54, and sold all the way back down. This is a very concerning candle, right? Considering it closed at 42, gapped up to 54, almost a $10 gap up, couldn't hold its weight, sold off entirely, is very scary and very choppy, right? However, people who were dip buying this thing saw an opportunity. They had their chance to kind of get out here, and there was no reason for this big massive move from 35 all the way up to 60 here, and there was too much back pullers from the prior times. So we're just getting selling pressure over selling pressure over selling pressure, and then once we filled this area here, once we lost this support right here, we kind of just rolled over on increasing volume. And this breakdown of these lows with aggressive selling volume is a concerning sign and not something you want to dip by. Anytime a prior level like this, we have clear support right here at this 43.50. Anytime that prior support breaks with increasing selling pressure, you want to be worried, you want to be concerned. It is your first telltale sign that there's more selling to come. All right. What can happen going forward here? What you really want to look for is for these volume bars to kind of slow down, to come into an area of support, maybe at around the $32, maybe around the 3,200 moving average. Look for a pattern that is most likely going to be bearish, but what you're going to be looking for is a reversal of that pattern to the upside. All right. Again, not something I would touch down here at the 30 levels on SBCE. Let's take a look at PLTR. So PLTR again tried, we had this downward trend on it. We hit that 17 level, started to make a newer high, and we kind of moved back up. And where did we move to, guys? This is why I keep repeating myself: support and resistance. The very basics of it comes down to support and resistance. If you could understand support and resistance, you are almost 75% of the way there, right? So we had this hold of the 1730. Where did we come up to? This 2750, this area of selling pressure right here, right? So we came back up to here, 2750. Couldn't really break that, rejected this 2250 area, which was an area of support for a very long time, held for a little bit, and then we rolled over. All right, selling pressure slightly increasing here. Vital to watch what's going to happen. Ideally, this could very well come down to maybe this 20 level, which is a psychological whole number, lose that, and we're very likely in the works to hit 17. Again, not something I would trade in the short term. If you are somebody that is investing in this long term, you understand the antics of this company, what they do, what they have going forward, you can start to look to average in, right? Maybe you start at 20, you add at 17, but you don't go full size. The idea for a long-term investment is not for you to go, full pop your entire IRA account, your entire TFSA account in one area saying, okay, I know this is going to go to the moon. No, you start at your 1/5 position here, you add lower, you get a good average. So when things start turning around, you have a good size, good position, and a good average. QS, right at entry. The issue I find with QS here, it failed to hold this 2376, right? Ideally, I need it back above here. More consolidation needs to take place. I don't like buying it here. Broke that 2376 level. There's really nothing else holding the stock up, right? If we go back to the max, we had this support right here at around 25 that didn't hold, right? We have this support right here at 23 that didn't hold. Ultimately, we can come down to 2085, and then really it opens it up if we're lowered at that level, even 17, right? So maybe these are the levels you kind of want to watch at. Again, not something I would trade in the short term. CHPT. Every single one of these growth themes that took a massive, gain in early December, January, pulled back, and they all did this exact same thing, right? We popped back up and just couldn't hold the pressure, couldn't hold the buying pressure. And now they're just selling right back off, increasing selling volume here. Again, something we discussed. Again, same idea here, not something that I would trade on the short term. One, there is no pattern. Two, it's under the moving averages. There's no reason to kind of trade this on the shorter term unless you're short bias on it and you're buying puts on it. But as far as going long here, trying to catch a falling knife, I advise against it. Why? Selling pressure is still increasing. Unless we have a sign of a reversal, unless we have a pattern that forms and breaks to the top side, we can't really trade these in the short term. What you can do if you're looking to trade this for a long term, again, start averaging down. Nice areas to kind of add in would be 23 and then possibly 1960, 1950 area. Rblx. Who's asking about Rblx? Dali. All right. Rblx broke down yesterday. Slight increase in selling pressure again here. This 7840, 7850 level is going to be vital for this name here, guys. If it loses this level right here, let me draw my line. If it loses this level right here, very easily can come down. Where can we come down to, right? Obviously, we have some support right here. We have some support down here. But there's really not much from here until at least this area, right? 70, 69. There's really not much. So if that rolls over under both moving averages, selling pressure is increasing. A little bit of a concerning look here on Rblx. If it does not hold the 78.60, it could very easily roll over here, all right? Good thing is this channel right here that it was stuck in had a nice breakout. It did get that nice push. Let me show you guys here. So it was stuck in this little channel here, right? Broke out, nice push to the upside, and it's kind of retested that area once and bounced nicely. Fair enough. But here we are again. Aggressive red candle is what's concerning me here. If we get under that 78.60, we can very easily roll back over and fall under. So we'll be watching that closely. On the put side, if it does break 78.60, but also concerned and wanting this to kind of hold back above so we can kind of roll over and continue higher. News on Netflix pushing market price 585 area up $10 from yesterday. If buyers step up, do you think possible move to 575? Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix tends to have selling pressure up in these levels. Right, every time it gets up here, it starts selling. Currently sitting at 558 from the 547 close, right above this level. It could see a move to 563. You're asking about 575. I don't know if it'll get to 575. You have resistance at 566. You have resistance at 563. Let's take a look at the closer time frame here. So look at that. See, it's respecting that 557 area. If it rolls over, it will probably try to gap fill, maybe come back down to the 550 area before trying to make a move higher. Has had a nice strong breakout yesterday over that 545 was probably the key area to get in. But now with this gap up, you're essentially chasing this thing here with a very small move to the upside. 566 possibly on the daily here. And that's where you're going to see some resistance, right? If and when we break above that, then we can look for entries possibly at the 566 level, then targeting 585. All right, but be very careful up here. Need to really clear the 565 with volume and strength in order to continue higher. Earnings is coming up. Maybe this is an earnings buy up, and buying volume is increasing as well, which is a positive sign. UPST. Are you invested in PLTR? I am not. I failed to pull the trigger when it was at 17. I'll probably wait for that number again for long term. UPST. UPST. So it was consolidating for a very long time here, right? Tried to break out, failed. Tried to break out, failed. Tried to break down, they bought it up. Tried to break out, failed, right? So something that's been moving very sideways for some time now. Okay, under this 111 area, I am looking to buy some puts on this if it breaks the 111 area, hoping that this time we flush, because there's really not much happening here, right? We had a solid move from $81 all the way up to at least this area now that we're at. So this is a nice gap area that if this flushes down, I will be looking to buy some puts. We'll have it on the radar and see what it does. Nothing on the long side as far as that goes. FSLY. FSLY, same story here. Growth name, big pop in the early December, January times. Sold off, popped back up, couldn't hold its weight. Came back to a lot of this transaction area, right? It popped up to where? This area that we had a lot of transaction, right? You see that right here. Lots of transaction took place here. We popped back up. We filled this gap down here. And look where we hit. We hit this area, now selling off. Again, not something that I would invest in the short term. If you're looking to invest in it long term, understand the financials, understand what the company does, understand the competition and the space that it's in. Look to average in at positions at possibly 50, 42, 35 area. You can start to kind of scale in on this position. Not something I would trade on the short term. Sounds like some puts today. Any trend on BFI? BurgerFi International. I don't really know what caused this big move, what caused this big volume here. However, it failed to maintain above this reversal area of 1154, got rejected. Needs to really reclaim that in order to track back at least to 1275. Not much of a pattern other than it's trying to get out of this consolidation phase. Again, needs to stay above 1150 in order for it to track back higher to at least 1220 or 1275. What stocks increase during a pullback? There's a couple of you got to look at the sectors and see what sectors money is moving into. Usually defensive stocks, usually utilities, basic materials. These things kind of tend to get money flow into them as the market's kind of selling off. So always keep an eye on the sectors and what's moving. All right, so we'll do one last one here, Vuzi. And as you guys know, every Thursday I do go live. Today I had some hiccup, but if you guys are here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. For Vuzi here, same thing, right? January, February, nice run up, pulled back into the moving averages. Not something I would trade in the short term. Under the moving averages, again, using these moving averages as a resistance, as we can clearly see here. You can start a position maybe at around this 1450 area, as that is also getting close to the 200 moving average. However, your next area of buy would probably be around 1268, then 1043. And really by that point, you want to hope for this thing to kind of turn around and start going higher. Again, you got to research the company and understand what it does. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I got to get back to the Discord. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you have any questions, make sure you let me know, DM me in Discord or on TikTok, and I'll be there to help you guys out. All right. Thank you all always for tuning in, and have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Have a good one, guys.